Okay, leadership career planning. What does that mean? You can do it at any point in your career, whether you're just getting started or whether you're already established. It's always good to take a moment and step back and say, okay, I'm here. Where do I want to go? Maybe you're already exactly on the trajectory that you want, and maybe you're not. Maybe, are you seeking excellence in leadership? Do you want to be your best in leadership? Do you want to kind of go with the flow with wherever you're at with your leadership? And before you can decide sort of where your career path is going to take you, I suggest that you really start with exploring who you are and who you want to be in your leadership, because that will dictate the where. If you just end up going to a position or an opportunity that looks good on paper, but you haven't checked in with yourself to see, what's most important to you, and, just your priorities, then you're not really going to get what you want. Okay, so one question that would be a good start would be looking at what is most important in your life, as well as how you work. So often, in the past, it would just be all about career. And we're just finding, especially as women leaders, that does not work, because it's very rare that we have just one hat that we wear in a day. So if you're doing the juggle and you know that you may kind of have lots of different aspects to your life moving forward, then you want to take that into account before you get started. You want to look at, how do I want to operate in the world? Am I someone who's more formal and I like environments that have kind of a more formal professional feel? Am I professional, but I also want it light and playful? I want to be able to relate to and connect with people in an easy way in a certain kind of environment. Do I like a structured environment? Am I more go with the flow? So some of it is looking at the way that you want to interact with your environment. And it's really all about knowing yourself. Further, it's also about knowing your key priorities and your values. And you can split these out personally and professionally if you want to. So looking at your life personally, what are your key values? Is it about relationships? Is it about, having time in nature? Is it creativity? Exploring all those things personally, and then looking at professionally, what are your priorities and values? So you can look, some of those up online so you can get some ideas, but start there, knowing yourself, what's important to you. And then also exploring, what do you want your daily routine to look like? What do you want your week to look like? Do you want to be working 60, 80 hours a week, or do you want something different? Do you want to try and work 40 hours a week and have other aspects of your life? And you maybe even want to work part-time as a leader, and it may be harder to find formal roles like that, but there certainly could be possibilities. So it's really about knowing where you are right now, and this doesn't have to be forever, where you are right now and what it is that would kind of be a match for your environment as well as your priorities. And then also you can start looking at your qualities and competencies that you want to embody, which we'll talk a little bit more about that. But, looking at what kinds of relationships do you want to have with the people who work above you? So unless you're the very tip top, you'll be having someone who's overseeing you. What do you want that relationship to look like? Do you want that to be easy connection? Do you want to be able to ask for what you need? Do you want to be able to easily give and receive feedback? And the same with if you're going to be supervising a team of people, how big a team are you comfortable working with? What kind of team, what kinds of conversations, what kinds of relationships? So knowing yourself and knowing where you thrive. And, will you find a perfect fit? Maybe not, but at least on the front end, if you have some clarity around what you might like that to look like, then that's a great place to start. So I'll pause here. You can percolate on some of that. You may want to give yourself some time in between, and I'll move on to the next topic in just a moment.